Raising chickens, turkeys, and other types of birds, whether done for profit or pleasure, involves undertaking the serious responsibility of disease prevention. In particular, breeding certain kinds of fowl entails an obligation to test them for a destructive illness called Pullorum typhoid disease. These birds look perfectly healthy, but if just one carries Pullorum typhoid bacteria, an egg-transmitted infection, they, along with many other breeding flocks, may very well be at risk, and the resulting financial damage could be devastating. Effective testing methods, in conjunction with proper biosecurity procedures, have virtually eliminated Pullorum typhoid from the poultry industry. This widespread success can be directly attributed to the National Poultry Improvement Plan, NPIP. NPIP is a voluntary, cooperative effort involving the U.S. Department of Agriculture, individual states, as well as the poultry industry. And on a state-by-state basis, it's been effectively supervising Pullorum typhoid prevention programs since the early 1930s. But even with this diligent oversight, the financial threat posed by Pullorum typhoid remains potentially serious. That's because outbreaks can still occur, and sometimes on a major scale, wiping out entire flocks. The primary reason for this is that the number of small backyard breeders, ones raising chickens, turkeys, and fancy fowl, is steadily growing, although a number of them are NPIP members who are familiar with proper testing methods. Many others are not. The purpose of this video is to explain how small breeders, even those with little training or experience, can accurately detect Pullorum typhoid by using what's called the rapid whole blood plate test. In addition to this method, there are 3 other officially recognized ways of detecting the disease. They include the rapid serum plate test, the tube agglutination test, and the microagglutination test. Unlike the rapid whole blood plate test, though, these others can only be performed in an authorized laboratory. Pullorum typhoid bacteria are host-adapted, with all types of fowl being vulnerable to infection. Turkeys, for instance, are very prone to the disease. For them, a serum test must be used, since research has shown this is most effective for these particular birds. Chickens are especially susceptible to Pullorum typhoid. Both hens and roosters can carry the bacteria, oftentimes doing so without showing any outward sign of infection. Occasionally, though, an adult bird's joints may show signs of swelling, which is an indicator of possible Pullorum typhoid contamination. The disease also causes severe lesions on many of the internal organs of a bird. For instance, look at the difference between an ovary taken from a healthy chicken and one belonging to an infected hen. Pullorum typhoid is often localized in the reproductive organs of a diseased female, with the illness being transmitted to young hatchlings directly through the egg. Unlike this healthy chick, those that are infected with Pullorum typhoid produce a white, pasty excrement. Because of this, the condition was initially called bacillary white diarrhea. The physical appearance of chicks and poults produced by infected birds can be an indicator of the disease. In addition to the chalk-white excretions around the vent after hatching, various other symptoms may be evident, such as drowsiness, a lack of appetite, drooping wings, labored breathing, swelling in their joints, a stunted or distorted body appearance, as well as a high death rate in the first 3 weeks after hatching, sometimes approaching 100% of the brood. Infected chicks or poults that don't die of the disease may grow to maturity and remain lifetime carriers. The rapid whole blood plate test, like the 3 other methods, is based on the fact that a bird infected with Pullorum typhoid carries immune substances called antibodies in its bloodstream. When mixed with the serum or whole blood of a diseased bird, these antibodies agglutinate, meaning they cause dead Pullorum typhoid organisms, referred to as antigens, to clump or stick together in a liquid suspension. A bird showing this type of result is labeled as being a reactor. Since the blood of a healthy bird doesn't contain Pullorum typhoid antibodies, no clumps form when its whole blood or serum is mixed with the antigen. Much of the success in preventing the spread of Pullorum typhoid in chickens and other birds can be directly attributed to the rapid whole blood plate test. This simple procedure, when properly done, accurately detects birds carrying Pullorum typhoid antibodies in their blood. And again, this test can be easily done by anyone having a basic understanding of the procedures involved. So let's take a look at exactly how the rapid whole blood plate test is performed. Items that are needed to conduct the test include a bottle of properly stored antigen, clean coveralls and headgear, rubber boots, a pail containing disinfectant, a portable table, a glass or porcelain testing plate, a light box, a bleeding needle and standardized blood loop, a container of water, soft cloths, a holding pen for the chickens being tested, and identification bands for birds showing a positive reaction. The antigen is made from Pullorum typhoid organisms that are suspended in a salt solution, but they're ones that have been chemically killed. So if the antigen should accidentally spill, there's no danger of spreading the disease. That's because the organisms in it are dead. When not being used, the antigen needs to be stored in a refrigerator at approximately 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The bottle should be removed before testing, though, to give the antigen enough time to warm up to room temperature. And immediately after testing, the antigen needs to be put back in the refrigerator to keep it fresh. Out-of-date or improperly stored antigen should not be used, since it increases the possibility of obtaining unreliable results. False reactions may occur when a large number of positive results are observed. These may actually be caused by using old antigen, which over time becomes quite sensitive, rather than by the presence of Pullorum typhoid antibodies in the blood being tested. To determine the response of antigen, positive and negative control serum should be used. These are available through state animal health laboratories. For the rapid whole blood plate test, a blue or red dye is added to the antigen so the bacteria becomes stained, making it easier for the results to be interpreted. If the reaction is positive, blue clumps can be seen in the mixture following an interval of between 15 seconds and 2 minutes. This effect is caused by the antibodies in the blood combining with the killed bacteria.